In this video, I'm going to be revealing our pay stubs from our lowest earning pay period and our pay stubs from our highest earning pay period. First, I'm going to show you what Monica's lowest pay stub looks like, and then I'm going to compare it to her highest pay stub. I'm going to show you guys what my lowest earning pay stub looks like, and I'm going to compare that to my highest pay stub of the year. And then I'm going to put all of our working hours together, and I'm going to show you guys what our effective hourly rate converts to when you take into account the amount of hours we work for the year and you divide that by the total number of hours we work. All right, this is going to be a good one, so make sure you guys stick around all the way to the end because I'm positive that you guys are going to want to work harder and earn more money by the end of this video. So with that said, let's move on to the video. Alright guys, let's dive right in and look at Monica's lowest earning pay period. So this pay period started on July 18, 2021 and ended on July 31st, 2021. She worked a total of 16 hours this pay period, and as you can see here, her regular hours were paid at $102.41 per hour with a night shift differential of $12.25 per hour. Her gross earnings for this pay period was $1,839 with employee tax deductions of $315, pre-tax deductions of $220, voluntary deductions of $36.99, bringing her to a net take-home pay of $1,266. Now, I want to break these deductions down a little bit further for you guys so you guys can understand exactly where these deductions are being distributed to. Alright, so as you can see here, year to date, she had $7,500 contributed towards her 401k, but for the current pay period, she had only contributed $220. $128.71 was deducted for federal income tax, while $114 was deducted for Social Security and $26.68 was deducted for Medicare. On the other hand, California deducted a state income tax of $24.17 and $22.08 was deducted for state disability insurance. This brings the total tax deductions to $315.70, and she also had a deduction of $36.99 for union dues. And if you guys have seen my video where I talk about all of the benefits that Kaiser nurses have available to them, you would know that these union dues are responsible for providing us with all of the benefits we have at Kaiser. And these union dues are paid every 2 weeks. If you scroll to the bottom, you would see that Kaiser also matched a portion of her 401k at $23 for the pay period. When it comes to her filing status, her marital status on her W-4 is listed as married filing jointly with 0 dependents. That's for the federal tax form. For the California tax form, she listed herself as married with 1 income and 0 exemptions. Now, the reason we did that is because we wanted to make sure that the highest amount of taxes were being deducted from her pay stubs, but not from mine, as you'll be able to see when I show you my pay stubs. Now, let's move on to her highest earning pay stub. Oh, and I forgot to mention, if you guys are new here and you're not aware, Monica is a per diem nurse. She works on a tele floor, and with her night shift differential, she earns $114.25 per hour. Okay, so let's take a look at this highest earning pay stub. This pay stub is for the pay period starting on January 31st, 2021 and ending on February 13, 2021. Her gross earnings for the pay period was $10,466. This pay period, she worked a total of 80 hours. She had $3,488 in tax deductions, $1,207 in pre-tax deductions, $71.96 in voluntary deductions, and a net take-home pay of $5,698. Now, I specifically remember this pay period because Monica was in her 3rd trimester and she was working more shifts than I was. She was working 10 days in a row on a regular basis. And if you look at her earnings summary, you would see that her regular hours were paid at $6,658. She also received a weekly overtime pay of $1,544. So because she worked more than 5 days in 1 work week, she was earning time and a half. And there were also days where she would not clock out on time and she would get incremental overtime because of that. Another thing you might see here on her pay stub is that she has a child care grant applied to this pay period. At one point for Kaiser, all staff members were earning up to $300 per pay period to help families pay for childcare services while their kids stayed at home going to school through distance learning. Okay, so my lowest earning pay period is also for July 18, 2021 to July 31st, 2021. My gross earnings for the pay period was $4,169 and I worked a total of 44.85 hours. Now, I should remind remind you guys, I'm an ER nurse. At this time, I was working an 8-hour evening shift, and I was regularly scheduled to work 24 hours a week, 48 hours of pay period. This pay period is short a couple of hours because I was just returning from parental leave and I had not returned at the beginning of the pay period. As you can see here, my regular rate was $86.02 per hour. My evening shift differential was $7.70 per hour, bringing my hourly rate to $93.72 per hour. As you can see from my earnings summary, at my regular rate, I got paid a total of $3,680. My evening shift differential added an extra $307, and I earned $172 from attending a staff meeting for 2 hours. Now, when we break down the tax deductions, for my pre-tax deductions, $667 went towards my 401k and $132 went towards my FSA, which is a flexible spending account that provides you with pre-tax benefits. That means that the money is deducted from your pay stub before taxes are taken out. So what happens in that situation, just like the 401k, is that it reduces your total taxable income and you pay fewer taxes at the end of the year. So this flexible spending account can be used for all types of eligible medical, dental, and vision care expenses. And I highly recommend any one of you get this because the items you can purchase with your FSA funds are endless. And next we have our tax deductions. This includes Social Security deductions of $250, federal income tax of $209, state income tax of $105, a Medicare tax of $58, and a state disability insurance tax of $48, bringing the total tax deductions to $671.96. And something you can see here that's different from Monica's pay stub, because she's not a benefited employee, is that my employer pays for health insurance, long-term disability insurance, life insurance, and a few other things for a total of $1,251 in employer paid benefits for this pay period. That's gonna bring my total net take-home pay to $2,698 for the pay period. All right, it's time we get to the moment you've all been waiting for. And if you guys have seen my 18-day run video, you would know that that was the pay period I earned the most money of the year. My gross earnings for the pay period of September 26, 2021 to October 9, 2021 is $15,460. This pay period, I worked a total of 112 hours, where my pay breaks down into a matrix of regular pay, time and a half, and double time. If you are not aware, I've mentioned this repeatedly, but if you work more than 8 hours in a single pay period in California, you get paid time and a half. If you work more than 40 hours in 1 week, you get paid time and a half. But there's more to it. As a Kaiser Permanente nurse, you get paid a premium for working on the 6th day, and you get paid time and a half the entire 6th day. You get paid double time on the 7th day, and you get paid time and a half every single day after that. If you want to know more about this, then make sure you watch my video on how nurses are earning over $20,000 a month in California, or my 18-day run video, because in those videos I go more in depth into the nuances on how these nurses are earning tens of thousands of dollars per pay period. Anyway, as you can see, in this pay period, I maxed out my 401k and I contributed $2,610 for the pay period. I also contributed my predetermined $132 into my FSA, bringing my total pre-tax deductions to $2,742. Now, for those of you that actually saw my 18-day run video, you would know that I went exempt this pay period. And for those of you that don't know what exempt means, it means that you would have to write that you are exempt from federal and state income taxes on your pay stub. Now, you can do this pretty easily by just asking your employer or telling your HR department that you want to complete another W-4. In the W-4, you would literally have to write exempt in order for federal taxes not to be deducted from your paycheck. So as you can see here, when it comes to taxes deducted from my pay stub, I had a total of $950 deducted for Social Security, $222 deducted for Medicare, $183 deducted for state disability insurance, but $0 deducted for federal and state income taxes. This brings my total tax deduction for the pay period to $1,356. And again, this brings my total take-home pay to $11,361 in a 2-week pay period. Okay, I promised you guys I would show you what our effective hourly rate would be if we take into account how much we earned this year and divide that by the amount of hours we actually worked. So I've gathered all of our pay stubs for the year. I looked at the amount of hours we worked every single pay period, and I added it up in a chart to make it easy easy for you guys to read. And as you can see here, if we round up, I worked a total of 1,077 hours this year. My W-2 gross earnings, meaning the earnings that I earned from my job and not from my parental leave, were $152,526 this year. My earnings from parental leave were $12,019, bringing my total gross earnings to $164,545. So because I worked a total of 1,077 hours this year, my hours worked every 2 weeks came up to 43. That means that on a weekly basis, I worked an average of 21.5 hours. Now, how do I get my effective hourly rate? In order to calculate my effective hourly rate for my W-2, I would have to take my earnings from my job of $152,526 and divide it by my total hours worked, which is 1,077 hours. This brings my W-2 hourly rate to $142 per hour. This is the amount of money I was earning every hour that I worked at Kaiser Permanente. But if you take my parental leave earnings into account, that means you would take my total gross earnings of $164,554 and you would divide it by 1,077 hours. This would give me an effective hourly rate of $153 per hour, which means I was earning $153 per hour, working 21.5 hours per week to give me a total of $164,554 in earnings for the entire year. Now let's look at Monica's side of the equation. Monica's W-2 gross earnings were $122,107 for the year, and this is not including parental leave. She worked a total of 950 hours, which equates to 38 hours on a bi-weekly basis and 19 hours on a weekly basis. If you take her W-2 earnings, not including her parental leave, and you divide it by the total amount of hours she worked this year of 950 hours, that brings her effective hourly rate to $128 per hour. Then if you take her parental leave into account, you would take the $140,136 divided by 950 hours and you get an effective hourly rate of $147 per hour. So as you can see, we are effectively earning way more than our base hourly rate that's advertised on our wage structure. And just to top it off, you guys can see that we earned $304,680 for the year, and we took home a total of $193,420, which means before we file our taxes and add in all of our deductions like our mortgage insurance and property taxes, the amount of taxes that are currently being deducted from our pay stubs is 36.5%. That includes all of the taxes that I've mentioned in the previous pay stubs, such as federal income tax, state income tax, Social Security, Medicare, and state disability insurance. And if you like this video, I'm sure you're gonna like this video right here where we go over our income progression from new grads in 2013 all the way up to 2021 working for Kaiser Permanente.